I just wanted to show you the dryer that we made. We've had some problems with it drying some, and I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing is the humidity issue. In other words, the Jamaica, even when we put a little bit in or a lot, it seems to not have a lot of airflow. So I'm going to open it up and show you a little bit about how it's working. Now, we've taken out some of the trays, and I'm just going to show you right here. This is what the trays look like. They have the opening the same size as specified, and they're counted on each side, so openings on one side here, then on the next tablet, and we have that done correctly. If you look at the very last one, we can get a better idea of the opening beneath. As you can see, the hot air comes in from underneath this first laminate, circulates up and over, and then comes into here. And so this shows you the space between each one. As far as I know, that this is the correct amount of space in between each tray. And so this tray has its opening in the back, this tray has its opening up front, this tray has its opening back, front, back, so it's in proper order. What we're finding out though is the Jamaica does not dry well when it's fresh. We can only dry with any amount of success Jamaica that's already been pre-dried. If we put it in here thin or full, when it's wet, this thing just holds the moisture. Now I tried putting these things, I tried putting them up a little bit, but it doesn't seem to make a difference if we tilt them. But the air is hot, and this thing seems to hold the hot air. And then when the sun goes down and it's cloudy, it seems to hold the cold air. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of airflow. We can feel the hot air coming out the chimney, but I'm thinking, based on what I saw on the other designs, that the airflow is just not working its way in. And I know that hot air rises, and that might be how it's supposed to circulate, but without any form of a scoop, it doesn't seem to have it happen. Now I just wanted to show you this one that we made with some leftover pallets, and we used the same concept of having an opening on every other side to let the air flow, and the difference was I just made a scoop for the air to come in. And as you can see, this design is very artisanal. We have $10 maybe in this whole thing, but because of that scoop, the air's flowing through all the trays and coming out. Now on this one, we've put a small piece of aluminum here to try to make it scoop up the air, but I just don't seem to get the circulation to come in through there. We've inspected the different points that you made about having the air flow correctly through the different tablets, and that seems to be working fine. We'll work more with having the air go through the surface without it being perpendicular by notching every other one, but the big problem seems to be that the air just sits there. So anyway, I just wanted to get a little bit of video out here on it so you can see what this looks like. And Howell, if you'll come in one more time, as you can see, this is how it's built on the inside. The air comes through here, it comes up the top, flows through each chamber, but the flow just doesn't seem to be happening. So right now the machine does not work for us unless we have Jamaica that's already been dried for several days first. So any suggestions you have? As you can see right now, it's really hot during the day, and at night it cools down significantly. So it seems very hot inside in the humidity holes, and then the day at night past 2 or 3 o'clock it gets very cool, and it seems to hold that same humidity in here, but it's then colder. If you look at one last thing, as you can see, we have everything in sheet metal, not plastic. We are using the 3M special material here, but everything is done in plastic, in metal. So I don't know if the metal material is the problem. I know this model hasn't been made before, so maybe that has more to do with it than anything else. But anyway, I'm gonna send this small video to you guys so you can see it and ask some more questions. If there's a way to open up the exhaust more, or to create a larger air intake, I think that would be helpful. But please give me your opinions. Thank you. So just as a last note, what we find is if we lift this Jamaica up on this tablet, the bottom of it's very wet and the top of it's drier. So for whatever that means. So we have to literally kind of come in here and turn them over. And so when we leave these out literally in the middle of the sun or the shade, you can see kind of what they start off with. This has been sitting out here for a couple of hours now, but it dries fine like this. It's just a longer process, and after it's been out here for a certain amount of time, we have to take it out of the sun so the nutrients aren't depleted. And so right now we're using this as a second stage of drying the already dried Jamaica, but there's just a real airflow issue. I will continue to work on notching this side up and the other side down so the airflow is uneven, but I'd like to see if there's more that can be done than just that. Thank you. So as you can see, what happens, this white stuff on it is mold, and so our Jamaica, here's another one, it gets this mold color on it when it gets wet in here, and so that's a problem because it'll affect the other crops. Anyway, that's just the last piece of this I wanted to show you. As you can see, the measurements are exactly like we have in the drawings. We've even made a couple of small adjustments to help seal it up properly. We even put a wedge in here so the door closes tightly. We've done some things to try to hopefully improve the design. And as you can see, this is what it looks like inside for the vent. It's the size that you would expect, and just goes out the top right there. But it's very humid in here. If I had on glasses, they would probably fog up right now, even with the door off. So anyway, this is it. We're having to leave the tablets out right now, just because of the issue with the drying. So anyway, if you have any suggestions, CTI, please let us know.